What's up, everybody, and welcome to the FPL WildCats Live. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening. And we are here, of course, to talk about FPL and Game Week 2, and of course how we did in Game Week 1. But before I pass over to Nim, make sure to hit that like. There's always a like goal. We'll figure it out as the stream goes on. Also, subscribe to the channel so you know when our live streams go live, and hit that notification bell. And Nim, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Welcome everyone to the stream. Welcome to our guest, FPL Dave from Fire and Blanks. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, buddy. Well, first game week of FPL is over and done with, and the points are in. So let's take a look at how we all got on in game week 1. And as our guest, Dave, would you like to start us off with telling us how you got on, please?
Yeah, sure. I didn't do badly. I captained Salah, so that pretty much covers my game week 1. And the rest of my team didn't really do much. I had Justin, but yeah, and Aubameyang. But apart from that, there wasn't really anything to write home about. Unfortunately, I'm quite happy with the score, but I'm not very happy with my team. If that makes sense.
And what did you get points wise and OR wise?
Yeah, 75 points. So I think I'm like around 500k.
Nice. And what are your transfers this week?
I see you've got Martial on the bench, so that puts you in good stead for Game Week 2, surely.
Yes, so I was quite happy the fact that I actually had Vardy sitting in there, and then made the transfer out for Martial because I didn't want to have to worry about it Game Week 2. I didn't know if FPL HQ were going to be keeping the prices from rising. I didn't really know what was happening, so I just made the decision to have someone on the bench for Game Week 2. And then Vardy got two shots, 2 goals. So that was annoying. That was really annoying.
I kind of wish I hadn't brought up Martial now. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine because to be honest, though, I would be moving Vardy on for Martial right now anyway. And because I don't have to do that, it means I can actually be aggressive and look for another punt because I think I'm going to be wildcarding really soon. Yeah. Just so that I can sort everything out. Because like I said, I wasn't really happy with the fringe players on my team. So it means that I can punt maybe one this week, another one next week. And I think I'm going to be taking Ings out and going for Richarlison.
Oh, cool. So actually not having Vardy, even though it was like real hurt in the first game week, it's kind of saved you that heartache of a problem whether to sell this week or not, pretty much.
Exactly. It means I can deal with stuff that is nothing to do with the fact that, you know, my placeholder for Martial scored, which is always nice.
Yeah. Cool stuff. Okay, Jay, would you like to tell us how you got on, seeing as you had a fairly decent game week 2?
Well, I just smashed it. That's all you really need to know. So,
yeah, well,
86 points, 131,000 ranked. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. But if we go into a bit more detail, of course, Salah captaincy was probably the main reason for such a good game week. Justin as well, just like Dave, Aubameyang too. But it was up front where I kind of got a few extra points on people. Werner, of course, he looked good in the game, got the assist by winning that penalty. Shame that he didn't take it. But Wilson and Calvert-Lewin were my 2 strikers, and they both got a goal apiece. And I like the look of both of them, to be honest, at least for Game Week 2. The dilemma I've now got, though, is I'm happy with quite a bit of my team, but there's still some issues. I'm not too sure about Southampton, as I've got a double up there with McCarthy and Walker-Peters.
Same, yeah.
Vinagre, that looks like something I've got to fix. And Son, I'm not too happy with, and St. Maximin, I'm not too happy with either. So there's a good half of my side that I'm quite pleased with and happy to stick with for a little bit, but then another half of it that I just want to get rid of. I'm planning to try and keep my wild card, but I just don't see it lasting that long. I think I will end up using it at some point, Game Week 3 or 4, just because I think there's too many things I need to fix, and of course the Man United boys and the Man City boys are coming in, so I'm a bit confused as what to do. A good start has made me confused because I don't want to change. I don't want to change something that clearly worked, and some of them have really good fixtures in Game Week 2 as well. So I may hold. The plan was always to hold and kind of try and ignore the Palace game for Man United, and then kind of make a mini wildcard move in Game Week 3. But yeah, I just don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay. Wow. Let's see if the stream helps you at all along the way. So, Kurt, how did you get on, buddy?
I think score-wise, I did better than Dave and Jay. I ended up on a perfect 69 for the lads, for the banter.
Ironic score for you, you know.
It's the perfect way to start off a season for someone that really doesn't take anything in this game seriously. I made a bit of I'd say a mistake. I did end up buckling and transferring out Willian and got Saka in, which is a bit of a bugger, but at the same time, I don't mind too much, still up on a decent score. And with that, I also had Mitchell coming in on the bench, who got 6 points for Palace, so it could have been a lot worse. Aubameyang captain, Salah vice captain. I mean, he still returned points, so I'm not going to complain too much. Again, it could be worse. I mean, I've captained worse in my time. We're having Salah as well. He's the one player from my midfield that has survived our wildcard this week as well. So all change. The plan was to try and hold, but I thought, sod it, just got a wildcard. There's no point holding out. With Justin as well, 9 points. Wilson and Werner getting some returns. It's all change as well this week. A lot of changes. Had Trent, he's gone.
Did you say you wildcarded, Kurt?
Yeah, wildcarded. I couldn't be bothered to
That was his plan all along.
I couldn't bother to try and wait and think, maybe I can have like Martial or Rashford or Fernandes on the bench or De Bruyne. I just thought, sod it. I'll put 100 million into game week 1 and 100 million into game week 2 and put a whole effort into it, which I got above the average, so I can't complain too much. Inside the top 1 million, which is the first and last time I'll be there this season.
This is the guy that beat the rest of us.
Yeah.
So he's saying that.
Sense of security. I'll lull you in and I'll strike. That's the plan.
It's working. It's working.
I'm not falling for it again.
But yeah, I mean, it's all changed. Like Salah survived in the midfield, but I've got Fernandes in, Martial, Willian, Jack Harrison, De Bruyne, Luke Ayling. I've got Digne in because Everton looks surprisingly good, I have to say. I've got Justin in. I kept Justin. I got Gabriel in just in case he rose in price. There's all changed. There'll still be more changes to make. I've also brought Brewster in because it looks as if he's leaving on loan, so he seems like a no-brainer. 4.5 for the majority of the people that play past game week 2 to have. So yeah, I think so many times in FPL I start off really poorly. I'm quite pleased that I've started quite well, and now I'm looking to act early and build on that rather than trying to save my wild card, plan for the future, and end up just sliding down the leaderboards.
So, Kurt, have you saved any of your Spurs assets, given how bad Southampton have been in defence?
No, because Spurs looked awful.
Mm-hmm.
And was it watching
How did they
the
do tonight? I actually didn't check.
watching the Mourinho or the Spurs thing on Amazon? It was quite sort of a nice watch to see a different side to Mourinho. But I thought, maybe they'll change things this season. But it's same old Spurs back again. And you watch that and you'd like Mourinho and you want him to do well, but he is turning into an unfortunate case which many managers have gone through. I think Mark Hughes went through. He's just becoming a bit of a dinosaur in terms of management. The styles that worked are now a bit outdated. He's not getting the results. I mean, obviously, this may change depending on how well the left back does and how well Gareth Bale does, if and when they join. But for now,
Brighton have just scored again.
I'm all off Spurs for me. They looked poor, and I'll put a lot of money into Dele Alli, into Heung-min Son, and Everton were there for the taking. Their defence is not improved. They should have been beaten. They weren't. So, no, I'm off Spurs for now.
Okay, buddy. Cool. Thanks a lot for that. Brett, how did you get on this week?
Yeah, not too bad actually. Distinctly average, nothing special, but not too bad. So 62 points. I captained Aubameyang instead of Salah. No regrets on that at all. I had Aubameyang captain for most of pre-season. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to keep it there. It felt like a no-brainer against Fulham. I obviously did a bit of research on Leeds from last season. They did have a good defensive record. Granted, away to Liverpool is a different ball game, and they did have their best centre-back staying at Brighton. But yeah, I still fancied, Arsenal to put a few goals past Fulham. And to be fair, even though I didn't captain Salah, there was a moment or two before the season started where I actually thought about going without him. I was very close to distributing those funds elsewhere, with all this talk of his preseason form, whatever, but luckily I didn't. It's Salah, and I thought if he goes big game week when I don't have him, I'm just going to hate myself. So he's always the player that I get most scared of not having. So I'm just relieved to be in this moment now where I didn't do that, So yeah, I'm happy to get a captaincy return from Aubameyang, and his underlying stats were pretty good too. Good option for West Ham next as well. I'd say the rest of my team didn't really do great. Harvey Barnes passed the eye test massively. He had an amazing game, but that was like typical Harvey Barnes, where he gets amazing underlying stats, but didn't produce the points. His finishing wasn't there. But I'm kind of a bit unlucky not to get points from him, I think. And with like Jay said, with Werner, I was happy with how he performed. He passed the eye test for sure. If Loftus-Cheek had passed the ball better, he was an on goal.
If Loftus-Cheek wasn't playing central behind the striker, I don't understand why he was there.
Yeah, there was like a 2-on-1, and if he had the defender did well, but if he had just squared it, it was an easy square, and Werner would have scored there. So I think, and Werner, there was moments where he wanted to take the player on. He wanted to shoot, and it's all, you could tell he was hungry, and I like that in players. So the only drawback I would say to game week 1, and I am going into the season with more optimistic. I'm not going to have regrets and look back on things too much. My only sort of negative is that when I put my first initial draft out, my initial plan was to have Martial and Greenwood on the bench for game week 1 and play like some 4.5s and 4 millions. So Mitchell would have started and probably Basuma. That was my initial plan, and I read some comments on YouTube. I received a bit of criticism for that team. And then I kind of second guessed myself, and I decided to take some punts rather than having Martial and Greenwood. I went with Danny Ings and Harvey Barnes. Now both blanked in game week 1, and now I don't have the 2 players that I want. I would have been better off with points because I would have played Mitchell, who got 6 points. And now I've got to make transfers now to get the players like Greenwood and Martial in that I want, So that's the only regret, really, just reading comments and then listening to them. Of course, Ings and Barnes could have paid off. I'm a bit unlucky not to get points from them. So that's a bit annoying. I've already done Ings to Martial now. I just thought I'll lock it in because even if Ings punishes me, that's the player that I wanted at the beginning of the season. I wanted Martial from his.
I remember you saying that a couple of game weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of streams ago even.
So even though Spurs don't look good, and I think Ings could very easily score against Spurs, I'm very aware that he might score against them. I thought to myself, what will I be more annoyed about? If Ings scores and I'd sell him, or if Martial scores and I don't have him? And it's because I've talked at Martial so much, I thought I'll be more annoyed now if I don't go with Martial and he does well against Palace. So if Ings scores, he punishes me, it's fair enough. But with the price rises as well, I thought I better lock it in now, because if Ings goes down and Martial goes up, I've lost 0.2 already. And then it leaves me in a sticky position to upgrade Barnes to Greenwood later on. So yeah, sorry I blabbed on a bit there, but that's
that's okay. It's all good.
Do you think you're going to captain Martial? Because I think that's the thing with Ings versus Martial. Martial's actually captainable this week. Yeah,
and it's funny you say that, because if I hadn't have brought Martial in, Aubameyang was 100% my captain. Now that Martial's in, it's like 80-20. That's kind of what I said in my video. Like, the logic and the sensible move is just to leave it on Aubameyang, but there's a part of me that wants to captain Martial for sure. So he's my vice at the moment, and even though I don't think I'll go through with it, I've certainly considered captaining Martial for sure.
My mind's telling me no.
Exactly.
But my body's telling me Martial. Sorry, continue.
Exactly. You put it.
Love that.
That's the kind of stuff that goes into my head. So that's all.
I mean, that's going to be stuck into my head now. Yeah, sure. I want Martial now.
So clearly you saved the best to last, getting round to me on my glorious 59.
I mean, you chose the order, just for the record.
Wow. Yeah, terrible. Well, not terrible. I mean, it's still, what, 9? How much was the average? I'm above the average.
50.
There we go, 9 above the average. I'm OR 1,737,686. So yeah, not great start. But then again, I never really start particularly great, except for last season when I did start fantastically and then fell off a cliff. So I prefer it the other way around. So I'm kind of glad to be starting badly, as weird as that sounds. Yeah, my only defender to get me any points was Lewis with his 7 points from his clean sheet and bonus points. Yes,
Lewis
chose...
looked really good.
Yes.
I was really impressed.
So glad I touted him pre-season, and I'm so glad that he did something, because I would have looked a right fool otherwise. But yeah, no, I was really impressed with him. Very happy that he got some returns, especially considering that I had the Southampton double up in McCarthy and KWP and Trent. So the rest of my defence was
Your heart must have sank when Walker Peters got that red card initially.
Yeah, like initially, but actually, no, it didn't. I was kind of like, yeah, I was expecting that. And then, like, literally, it was kind of like that deep resignation that this is just going to be, this is going to be awful. Here we go. Like, this is exactly what I expect from game week 1, sort of thing. But then, yeah, so it was all good when that was turned around, thankfully. Chose the wrong captain. Well, I don't want to say I chose the wrong captain, because I don't think Aubameyang was necessarily the wrong captain.
No.
Still got a goal. But of course, it's the curse is back, isn't it? The curse is back, people. Make sure you captain my vice captain, because it's happening all over again. Captain Aubameyang, vice captain Salah. My captain does something, gets a goal. Salah scores a hat trick. They always outscore my actual captain. So yeah, that's what happened again in game week 1. Then yeah, the rest of my midfield was an absolute mess. I got Saka out last minute and put Soucek in. Because I heard obviously that Saka might not be starting. Yep. So that's why I kind of did that switch.
Cost you 4 points.
Yeah, it did actually end up costing me 4 points this week, but it did give me an extra 0.5 in the bank. So I do now have 3 million in the bank at the moment. So, that's kind of nice. Werner got me, and half of all FPL managers, 5 points. And yeah, Adams was a little bit unlucky, I think, not getting anything. That guy to save was good. And I think he hit the bar last night, I heard. So is there signs that he might be about to do something? But yeah, it's not great. Obviously weighing up the Che to Martial or Son to Bruno, but I actually used some of that 3 million to buy Bruno last night, thinking he might go up in price.
For who now?
So Son to Bruno was the move, and I've now got 1.5 million left in the bank to spend elsewhere. So I am kind of hoping that Bruno does go up in price. I'm not feeling particularly confident having sold Son ahead of that Southampton game, given how bad Southampton are looking, and the fact that Bale might obviously now be joining the Spurs team, which, with their run of fixtures, does make me think, have I just done the wrong thing? But I'm kind of hoping that I can catch a couple of price rises, and like Dave, I won't be holding on to my wildcard long this season, especially as soon as Aguero is back.
With Bale in the mix as well. I know Bale hasn't played for like 18 months, but like it adds another premium player that I'm sure I'll have at some point.
As a Welshie, you gotta have Gareth in your team, haven't you? I mean,
I'm guessing he'll be about 10.5. That's like my prediction. I think they'll put him the same as Fernandez, maybe.
I'd like to.
Expensive.
I'd like to see him about around that. I think 9.5, 10.
That's an interesting price. Then that'd be the exact same price as Kane,
and
then you're gonna make a decision.
Yeah. It's just a guess, but I feel that's what they might put him at.
Interesting. Cool. Okay, then. So if you guys could get any questions you want answered in the chat, normal questions and quick fire round questions, get them in the chat now, please. Please also, I can see there are 49 of you guys watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that like button. And Kurt, what are we doing for the likes tonight? Anything special, or do you want people to suggest something in the chat?
suggest something in the chat, but it's a Thursday,
Okay.
so I can't get the trusty bottle of Sambuca out again. But
You should have
I'll
said
let
wasn't
the
it?
chat
Wasn't it
decide.
Thursday last week? Just
No, it's Friday last week. It's
Friday.
Oh,
Friday. That's
okay.
why I felt like I'd do it.
Oh, okay,
Thursday,
fair
I can't turn up to work half plastered.
Yeah, you go, I was working late.
Yeah, I was streaming. I was doing my thing. Cool. Okay, we've got a couple of questions from social media here, so I'll crack on with a few of those first. And as always, a regular of the stream, RP, our Pristaview says, "Hello Wildcats, hope you guys had a good start to the season." And he's got a couple of questions for us. So the first one is, Salah captain, convince me otherwise. So Dave, can you convince RP otherwise than Salah as his captain this week?
Probably not. I don't mind that as a captain. If I had to pick three, it would be Aubameyang, then Salah, then potentially Martial. I think Chelsea's defense has always been quite risky to even pick them as a team. So I know that a lot of people went for James and they should be really happy. But I think that Salah is going to have a field day out there, especially if they play Alonso in that position instead of Azpilicueta. I'm not really sure what Azpilicueta's deal is at the moment. I haven't double checked since last time they played, but he wasn't playing, and Salah's going to have a field day absolutely on that wing. And especially since he's been throwing up numbers that he hasn't done in 3 years. He was exceptional. Like, it made me change plans just because of how good he was. So he's got, we've got Salah back. I don't mind it. If you want me to change your mind, then West Ham's defense are worse than Chelsea, and Aubameyang is probably going to be captained by most people. So not only would you need Salah to do well, but you also need Aubameyang to not do well for it to actually pay off. Because if you have it the other way around, then your rank's going to just go and just fly into shit. So I think that, yeah, if you're a betting man, then awesome. I love that. Go for it, mate. Do it. But yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm happy for you to do it.
Kurt, you love a bit of bat shizzle. So can you convince RP to captain anyone other than Salah this week?
If he's confident on Salah, no. I've currently got the captain's armband under Willian just because I think if West Ham are as disorganised as possible, then Willian could be getting another 3 assists, and also transfer Aubameyang out, try and get other players in.
Okay.
That's the other negative. But my instinct is telling me Man United player. But I just got to pick between Fernandes and Martial. And the worrying thing about looking at Project Restart is there always seemed to be is that if Fernandes returned, Martial or Rashford didn't. But if Rashford and Martial returned, then Fernandes didn't really return. So picking the right one. The safe option is Salah. And again, Chelsea maybe still need to improve their defence. Maybe until they get Thiago Silva match fit and ready, they'll be a bit leaky. But Salah's a safe bet. He's going to try hard. But if Chelsea pull out a blinder, you never know. I mean, Chelsea have pulled out blinders before. Teams always pull out blinders. Yeah, I'd say if you got saying Salah, go with Salah. The worst thing you can do is overcomplicate things.
Yeah. Jay, any thoughts on this?
I'd bring up Salah's away form from last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was often a lot better at Anfield than he was away. But other than that, I was planning to transfer Salah out, and his performance was good enough for me to put that to bed, because it was going to be Bruno Fernandes in for Salah, and then I'd bring Salah back in like game week 5 or 6-ish time when I'll possibly captain him again. But he's done well enough for me to not transfer him out, so it's going to be difficult to convince you, but I'm not captaining purely because of his away form.
Cool. And Brett?
Yeah, so obviously after Salah's opening performance, and like Dave said, it was like Salah evolved, like he just like carried the game. He was so dangerous. The stats back it up as well. But for the sake of his question, he wants me to talk him out of Salah. So I'm not suggesting Salah's a bad option, but if he wants me to try and convince him otherwise, I would agree with Jay. Salah's away form last season. So in 17 games away from home, he only scored 4 goals. So not the best away form last season. And I mean, I know I don't really trust Chelsea's defence. You know, I never trust them. I never looked to them for clean sheets, at least not last season. However, so for their home form last season, Chelsea defensively, they only conceded 16 goals at home. That's the third best defensive record. And for big chances conceded, they had the least of any team. 22 big chances conceded at home last season was better than Wolves on 23, better than Spurs, City, United. So their home defensive form, actually, Chelsea, is not too bad. And statistically, only 16 goals conceded in 19 games. So I would, you know, with Salah's poor away form from last season and Chelsea's underlying statistically good home form defensively, I would say there's an argument to not captain him. But that's not doesn't mean he's a bad option because, you know, looking at this season, this is what we know right now. He was amazing in the last game. So this isn't like a months ago. This is what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And he looked on fire. And what I do like Salah playing Chelsea because there's always a bit of incentive there. I always like players playing their old clubs. The way he didn't really get a chance there is always a point to prove. He scored against them in the past. I remember him scoring like a screamer against them, maybe a year ago. So yeah, he's still a great option. But if you want me to talk you out of him, that they would be the reasons I'd give.
Yeah, I can't really add anything that the lads have put up here. I mean, if you feel a gut call for Salah, then you should probably follow that gut call. You know, don't want you to be feeling anything, you know, later down the line that, you know, you got talked out of it. But yeah, like if you really want convincing out of it, you know, it is really hard to look past Aubameyang this week, you know, against that West Ham side. And I think that it's going to be difficult for Aubameyang to not want to get something there, and especially after celebrating his re-signing of the contract.
Yeah,
for sure. So cool. He'd also asked, I know people are jumping on City and United assets, but since our premiums returned, is it worth jumping on this game week? So Kurt, you're on a wild card. Your wild card is all about City and United, right? So
yeah, it was going to be more heavy, but yeah, currently 3 Man United and City players coming in.
So you've already sold on Aubameyang. So you're obviously, you know, going with getting off of them now, even though they returned.
Well, Aubameyang for me could have been and probably should have been a season-long punt, but it's just for me. I look at he scored a goal, and I think he's going to be good this season as a midfielder. He's going to be good. Transferred in by 92,000 people currently, but the worrying thing is that he's transferred out by 174,000. So for me, I'm trying to potentially just sort of see out a game week or two.
Yeah, because before the season started, Kurt, like Auba was your main man.
Yeah.
You said you were going to keep for a lot of the season. You were like, he's the one that's staying, you know?
He will still find his way back in. It's just, I have a feeling he could drop in price. And then if my thinking is if I potentially take a punt, and also I looked at the fixtures.
Yes. You just
Liverpool
need to get
away,
through this West Ham
Man
game,
City
don't you,
away.
really?
I don't think Arsenal will return too much in those games. Sheffield United at home can still be a tough game. There's a chance, excluding the West Ham game, he could go through his game week 5, having not returned in 3 games. I feel like his price could have dropped quite a bit by then, maybe 0.2, hopefully. Getting back in at 11.8, he's there for the season then. Because Liverpool away, City away, the two, I mean, if you're going to go with just generic, 2 hardest games this season for any club. So once he's gone through them, I think it was a season-long thing, but it's just... now,
providing you can get through West Ham fairly unscathed, then it's probably...
Yeah, if he scores a double hat-trick against West Ham with 17 assists, I think, I probably should have just kept him in because, let's face it, West Ham are that possible to do that.
I think game week 3 there will be mass sales, even if he scores against West Ham, because we'll move to De Bruyne.
He's out of my side no matter what he does.
Liverpool away in game week 3, so I can see a lot of people selling him then anyway. So
he's still owned by 46.3% of people. And if he's already been transferred out by, or including transfers in, there's a net transfer out of about 80, 90,000. If then people look at it and think, he's only coming in for this game week and transfer him on again. If his price drops 0.1 this week, his price will drop again before that Liverpool game. So my thinking, it could backfire, but it's sort of planning around the price, which I never really look at, but
Am
it
I
could
the
work.
only
It's a bit
one
of a
that's
risk.
thinking if he goes nuts this week, how am I going to drop him? Like, because
No,
he's
fair.
still scored against, he's
Yeah.
still
No.
scored against the big clubs. I mean,
He could
Yeah,
score a hat-trick and I'll still sell him.
really, wow.
same.
I could be on both boats, and the thing is, with players like Aubameyang, it's not like if you had Giroud up front for Arsenal and he was doing what Aubameyang was doing, he's a player that needs service. So against those tough away fixtures, you're going to struggle. With Aubameyang, all you've got to do, one quick counter. You've got players like Willian that can feed him through, Lacazette that really combines well with Aubameyang, and Aubameyang himself, born finisher, always in the right position, knows how to attack. Is really quick. A quick counter attack, you get 30 seconds. That's it. He could score. That's all he needs. It's a bit like Vardy, a bit like Werner this season. They'll get a lot of their goals from quick counter attacks. So if he scores well, if he's still my team, I'd be inclined to keep him. But for me, again, I'm just planning too much about the price. So we shall see.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be interesting, especially if, KDB has a bit of a crappy start, this week, and Alba smashes it. It'll be interesting to see what the community does in that respect. Okay, so Jay, you're potentially considering leaving it for a week before going United. Did I hear you say?
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to get your take on this.
So the thing for me is Salah and Liverpool are a different prospect in my mind than Arsenal and Aubameyang. Liverpool, Man City are two sides that I think on their day can go and score 4, 5, 6 goals against opposition.
Oh, I'm so hoping that Arsenal do that this weekend now.
Whereas, I'll still be on Aubameyang captain for that. But in my mind, Arsenal come about 5th or 6th as far as attacking outfits in general. And so if I'm going to be putting my money into attacking players, I want them in the sides that I think are going to be scoring the most goals in a season. And I believe Man City and Liverpool will still be the top 2. Maybe if Chelsea can kind of gel well together. They were doing really good numbers last season, especially near the end. They could maybe have a goal for it similar to them. I just feel like Arsenal under Arteta, and yes, they had a great game against Fulham, but it's Fulham and then it's West Ham. I don't think those 2 games really are a good, deciding factor on how good they're going to be attacking-wise throughout the rest of the season. And then they've got tough fixtures after those 2 games. So I'll be getting off of Aubameyang, even if he does do really well against West Ham, because right now I think a lot of strikers could score a lot of goals against West Ham.
If Liverpool concede another 2 against Chelsea and 2 or 3 against Chelsea this week, though, it's like, they shipped 3 at home to Leeds. So it's still a decent fixture for Aubameyang.
Yeah, and I'm thinking if Aguero's back with my cash in the bank, I could still have a City asset and keep Aubameyang. That's where I'm kind of at the minute.
The thing is, with the way Leeds play, I think Leeds would have scored potentially 3 against nearly everyone. Because I don't think Liverpool were really ready for how many people they had forward. Liverpool hadn't prepared properly, and I think that is why they were so bad defensively. Now, it'd be very interesting to see what Chelsea do against them, but Chelsea aren't going to have 5 people forward. Or at least I don't think they will. Like Leeds did. Literally, Calvin Phillips would get the ball, and there'd be 5 options for Calvin Phillips to look at that were literally on Liverpool's back line.
Yeah.
Harrison would be the one running behind. They try and find him. They put it into Hernandez or Klitsch, who would be dropping into spaces. Bielsa did something that I think most managers won't dare do against Liverpool, and that's why I think they looked so bad defensively. I could be proven wrong, though.
It reminded me of Norwich. They tried to do that in Gameweek 1 last season, but they just didn't have the players to be able to pull it off. Whereas Leeds absolutely found those spaces, and it kind of helped that Gomez is atrocious at tackling and tracking back. And unfortunately, Van Dijk can't do it all. So that kind of a lot of weights held on his shoulders, and he makes a mistake, twice a season, and unfortunately did it twice in one game. I think you're absolutely right. Like Leeds just tore them a new one, and it was just very, very, very lucky that penalties came Liverpool's way. I think Leeds are going to do that to everyone. So it doesn't really. I'm okay with having the defenders in, but yeah, against Aubameyang, that's still a worry, like you guys said.
Yeah, and so would you be jumping off of some of your assets this week for City or United, Dave, if you didn't like. I think you've already kind of answered that with going Vardy to Martial, but is there an argument, I guess, to stick with what you've already got?
I think we've been blessed a little bit with the fact that City have Wolves next, like their first game, because it means that we don't actually have to deal with it too much.
Coincidentally lost tonight, I think I saw there.
That might be even better. That might be even better.
Yeah,
it makes Wolves even more appealing than they were.
Yes, because now they don't have any
rotation. No,
they don't like rotating anyway. So now
Jimenez will be laughing.
Yeah, so I think that the City thing has been pretty lucky falling into our lap, so we don't have to really look at it until game week 3. But it also is kind of annoying that Man United are playing Crystal Palace, who have got quite a few different injuries happening at the back. I know they played against Southampton, and they only scored 1 goal, and they kept a clean sheet and everything. But I think Southampton were off the ball a little bit without Armstrong. They didn't really have much creativity. They lost a few players to the transfer window. There was no real pivot. I didn't really see anything in the midfield.
Pivot.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't really see any Friends references in the midfield. There was a lot. They basically just sat back, and Southampton don't really play very well with that kind of style. So I think the problem is that if they sit back against Man United are just going to thrash them. They're absolutely going to go through them if they try to do the same thing they did to Southampton. And I don't really think they have any plan B. That's kind of how they play anyway. So for me, if I didn't have Martial, I'd be so scared. I've got him, I'm still scared of Bruno. I'm still scared of Rashford. If Greenwood wasn't such a shagger, I'd be scared of him as well, right? I honestly don't really know what to do without having more than one of them. So yeah, if you don't have any of them, be afraid. And if you're planning on it, then I think it's good to go. It's one of the reasons why so many people are wildcarding just now, because of that fear of that we don't have these players. These players were amazing post-lockdown. Yeah. I don't know what to do with myself. Who wants to hold me?
I see George has just said hit that like button, please, people. So Kurt, did we actually decide on what you were doing and on how many likes yet? Was there anything placed in the chat?
No, I didn't see anything in the chat.
I've not seen anything.
No.
To be fair, 28 likes so far. I don't think they'd get the numbers that's needed for Kurt to do anything.
That was already
that's a challenge
last week. So.
That's a challenge to you guys to prove me wrong.
Where are we? Like, yes. Bam. You are welcome.
Let's go, champ. What are you doing then, Kurt? Have you chosen?
I'm fine with 31, 32 likes. I think we've done enough. I don't need to pour myself out every week.
You're happy. Okay,
fair
enough.
As the leader of the Wildcats, you should stop encouraging me to whore myself out to the viewers, personally. Can't become a common theme.
I'm pretty sure you said before we started this stream, let's get them to suggest.
Maybe we should flip it. Maybe we should say get to 50 and he won't take his shirt off.
Maybe.
Get to 50 before the quick fire for Brett.
And the likes are rising.
Yeah.
John Tyner says keep your shirt on.
Get to 1 billion likes and I'll keep my shirt on.
This is the internet, guys. As soon as you guys say no skin is gonna be shown, they're gonna just try everything they can do to see your top off. I'm almost considering taking my leg off.
This is a
that
good
means
one.
I can't see.
No, you can't do that to him. No. Don't do that to Kurt.
Sorry to interrupt, but Razvan says if we get to 50 likes, Kurt has got to put Sheffield United logo on the green screen behind.
Yes.
No. I think he's doing that for 50. Yeah. He's not doing that for 50.
Okay, how many? What number, Kurt, would we need for that?
69,420.
Let's write that number down.
I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah.
Just in case. 69,420.
Or about just 69, the same number as your game week points.
No.
I'm thinking you're a United fan, mate. How's that? What's going on there?
Oh, interesting.
I won't turn that back on. Gone forever now.
He is a Sheffield fan, but not the United cat. I'm not
a Sheffield fan. Sheffield Wednesday. How many times? That's what
I said. Not of the United kind. You didn't let me finish.
You just said Sheffield and it triggered me.
Did you see those curls?
How can I get triggered at someone like that? But I just don't know.
There's two of me again. I don't know how this happened. It seems to be multiplying.
Let's get back to FPL.
Yes. So RP's last question was, who are your differential picks for this game week? So I'll go first while you guys are thinking of some. I've already mentioned him a couple of times this week. I'm going with Ryan Fraser. Scored a goal in the Carabao Cup the other night, 6 million in price, and faces Brighton side that conceded 3 goals against Chelsea side that didn't look that great, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ryan Fraser. And I think he starts. I'm hoping he starts, but he's kind of my jammy pick, I guess, as Sam
Only
would put it,
1% owned as well.
for the
Nice.
week. So
I like that.
yeah.
Ask a
That's a
question
nice
that you know is not easy and take the first answer, so none of us can now say Fraser.
Were you
There's
gonna say
loads,
Fraser?
of, there's loads of differential options out there. Come on, buddy.
Not many good ones.
Were you
We're
actually
one
going to say
game week
Fraser?
in.
I was surprised at that you
No,
said
I wasn't
Fraser.
going to say Fraser. I wasn't.
Oh,
gonna
thank
say Fraser.
goodness, because I was like, well, I'm well behind if you're all thinking Fraser. I was like, oh, you know, I won't jump to them, but oh my goodness.
Go on then, Dave. Who you going with?
Yeah, just any Everton player, jump on them.
Yeah,
yeah. I took 11 players off you guys. No, I would pick probably Richarlison. Everyone's going to want DCL, right? He's cheaper.
Mhm.
He's already risen in price, so you know that people are jumping on him. But yeah, Richarlison for me, he had five key passes that James Rodriguez made were all to Richarlison. That's some big numbers. That's actually the best of the game week.
Yeah.
That he did, and they were all straight to Richarlison. So if he's got shooting boots on,
Yeah.
which I know he will against West Brom, especially down that side where Barnes, like you said already, Barnes looked amazing on that side, and he was getting inside the box, and just needed to find those finishes. But that's where Richarlison's going to be, and if my math is correct, +2 should equal 4 in this case.
Yeah.
That's a good shout, because watching that game, like, again, it was a bit like Harvey Barnes. Like, it was like vintage Richarlison, because he had so many chances, and on his day he can do really well. You know, he's such a talent, but he's so erratic, you know. And if I had owned him for game week 1, I would have been so gutted not to get something, because yeah, the amount of chances Richarlison had, and he like sort of missed an open goal as well, didn't he? Rounded the keeper, bit of a tight angle, but could have
Should've
squared it for the
squared
assist. And
Definitely. But that's the
yeah,
best part
he was
about
so
him, is that
dangerous, but didn't return.
he was very, very he's Salah like in
Yeah,
that he was extremely guilty of not passing it. And that's what we love about FPL players. That's the best part about owning someone who's selfish, is that they don't pass, they take
Yeah.
those shots.
I would say if your player is going to blank, you want them to blank like Richarlison did, because even though it's frustrating and you feel gutted, it's still like, wow, he's getting into a lot of positions, he's shooting a lot. You know, it's much better than having a player that doesn't get involved at all. So no, I like that shout for sure.
And what about you, Kurt?
Egan.
I'm quite drawn to Luke Ayling personally. I think Leeds attacked well. Granted, he didn't defend well. It's hard to defend well when you're away to Anfield. But Ayling attacked well. And personally, I feel like at home to Fulham, if ever there's a game where a much improved Leeds side are going to take on still quite a, and I say much improved, is that they've signed players in areas that they need, whereas Fulham, again, have probably gone a bit gung-ho. And I really liked Michael Hector when he was with us, but I think he got a bit exposed in a 3-0 loss. I think it could set up for a bit of a bomb forward mission for Dopey. And well, he's in my team. He's probably going to start, and I think he could get a clean sheet and some attacking returns, and it's worth a shout, owned by under 4%. So apart from that, that's all I've got. Everyone else have is owned by about 20% of people. So it's the only actual one I have.
Just put it out there. This afternoon when I was doing my Dream Team stream with Fantasy Football Focus, he was quite keen on Helder Costa, Leeds, 5.5. Has anyone got any thoughts on him? And anything you can add on
What
that?
my issue with Leeds is, so many of their players looked good that I worry the points are going to be spread quite evenly over that entire side.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And don't get me wrong, they're still great value. So what I'd suggest is you pick one, and you might just have to stick with it during the fixtures you want a Leeds player for. But I think you've got Helder Costa, you've got Harrison, you've got Ayling, you've got Dallas, you've got Phillips. So many of those players looked really good, and I think they will all pick up points. I just couldn't tell you right now who I think will pick up the most points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brett, who would your differential be, buddy?
No real stats to back this one up because obviously they haven't played yet. But
Who's
I'm
going to say my player? No.
I'm going to say Grealish.
Oh, kind of.
I'm
Okay.
with Grealish at home to Sheffield United.
I think Jay's going to say Greenwood.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's in the dream team. Actually,
he's like 10% owned, actually. So I don't know
if.
if you would call 10%
thank you.
differential.
That's good to search out.
It's partly, I mean, with the new contract signing, committing his future. I think he got a goal and an assist in the cup. Granted, it was against, I think, Burton, but a confidence boosting start for him. He had a great season last year, and I can just only see that getting better. I just really rate Grealish. I think because we talk about Leeds potentially spreading points around. In Villa, it's just Grealish. He's the one that all the attacks are going to come through. So
are you worried about their new striker though?
That's my pick.
Oh, Ollie Watkins.
Yeah. I think that Aston Villa side has needed a good striker, and potentially he could be the striker for them. And with Grealish behind him,
yeah. So if Ollie
left.
Watkins is scoring, then probably Grealish is probably assisting. So, and not only that, but with Sheffield United, I know it's only been one game, and I know it was just a couple of 2 goals conceded straight away, and they didn't concede for like 85 minutes after that. So I don't know how much you can read into that, but the moment I saw Sheffield United ship 2 goals that quickly, I was like, is this second season, like, are they going to be, I know it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to think that, because Sheffield United was so reliable defensively, and they're so hard-working under Wilder as well, so I can't see them shipping goals all the time, but just this sudden flash came over me, like, are they going to be a bit more, not as good this season? So yeah, I quite like that fixture for Grealish at home to Sheffield United, and then game week 3 as well. He's got Fulham straight after, so 2 nice fixtures there.
And Jay, yours was the striker for Villa.
Well, I mean, I could have gone with any Everton player as well, but
yeah, of course.
Just Ollie Watkins because the fixtures. I think a big reason why Sheffield United did so well is I think Henderson. And I like Ramsdale. He used to play for AFC Wimbledon, but I don't think he's Henderson's quality. And
I don't
the expected
think you put
goals.
the goals on him though. It was like an open shot
definitely
from
not.
Jimenez.
But I'm just overall.
I mean,
don't
in
think,
general.
Yeah, in
all right,
general.
cool. Because I've got him in, and I was about to fight you. I don't care.
But the expected goals against Sheffield United last season, and what they actually conceded, you don't see numbers like that very often. And it's likely to be regression. So I don't think they'll be as good defensively as they were last season. I think also sides have now had time to figure out ways to play against their system. So I think there could be some sort of second season syndrome. I just don't think it will be massive. I think they'll still stay up. But yeah, I don't like their defence as much as I did last season.
Yeah. Just to be clear as well, just for the chat, there's 1 or 2 saying, because we're saying so many options, they're confused. But we're just trying to give different
differentials. These are.
Yeah, so like I would have gone Everton as well. I would have gone DCL or
That's hilarious.
Luca Digne or Rodrigo, James. But I'm just trying to give different options.
Yeah,
so
I mean, Everton is probably top of the pile this week. So go there, and then we're giving other options. Should you already have Everton or just fancy not joining the bandwagon, basically. Okay, at McDavius asks, who has the worst kit this season? Be as brutal as you want. Kurt, who do you think's got the worst kit this season, buddy?
I don't know if it's something about them, but it's just, I think Sheffield United's home away in 3rd kit and Crystal Palace's home away in 3rd kit. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling I don't like them.
Could that have anything to do with the teams itself by any chance?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Are you saying Kurt's biased?
Never.
Wow, how dare you judge him like that? That's shocking.
What about you, Dave?
Yeah, Rangers. I think Rangers are pretty shocking. That is a Scottish joke. That was exactly what he just said. No, have you guys seen that the kit for Man United, the 3rd kit? It looks like someone
kit.
Someone's just ran someone over with a tractor, and then they went, "Oh, what a good idea!" and they've just stuck that on someone's shirt. That's atrocious. I don't really care too much about the shirts. It doesn't really bother me. I'm not in it for that. I don't really buy shirts or anything. Scottish teams really, but yeah, that was bad. Even I could tell that was bad.
Yeah, that one and the Wolves away kit is pretty awful too, isn't it? The one with the kind of sky blue patchy thing and the yellow sleeves is a bit. What about you, Jay? You got anything to add to those?
I'm sorry, I've been way too busy thinking about FPL to look at football kits. Who asked the question?
Meg Davis.
Oh, if it's Meg, then I don't care. Sorry, Meg.
Oh.
It's literally a game where you take shirts and you put them on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not looking at the names and the prices and the stats?
Nah, I like to color coordinate, especially once I'm finished my team. I like all red to be on one side. Does no one else do that? And you kind of like make sure the colors all look nice.
The only thing I do is if I'm doing my starting 11, I try to make it look realistic. So that if there's a right back, he'll be on the right. Left-footed players go on the left. The centre mids go in the centre. So I always try and do that. And sometimes I'll spend so much on that, get that organised and think, I need to transfer him out. And then I'll have a left winger in centre mid, think, oh no, I've ruined the entire thing now. I have to go back and change the entire team.
I was going to say, what if your defence is full of fullbacks?
Yeah.
Well, then we have the most sort of stocky built defensive fullbacks in the centre.
Ben
Davies is centre back, and then people that don't play in fullback like Aurier and Alonso out of wide.
You could bring Tierney in. He plays kind of in a weird kind of hybrid-y centre backy left wing. There you go. Yeah. I like this. I'm going to do it next time.
It becomes a fascination. Trust me. You don't want to get involved in that.
I like 69 points. Here I come.
Brett, anything to add to that? I know the Arsenal away kit is pretty awful, isn't it?
It's the Wolves away one for me.
Yeah.
Not just the colour scheme's a bit weird. I like the home kit though. Home kit's lovely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay then. So should we take some questions from the chat now?
Yep, sure. We've got a lot here. So thanks for the questions, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll start from the top then. So One Rovers Vlogs. Hey man, he wants to know, should he triple captain Aubameyang this week? I mean, we've just seen people triple captain Salah and that paid off. What do we think about using it in game week 2?
Yeah.
Anyone want to jump in?
I don't like it. No. No, it's not a double. What are you doing? Don't do that.
Don't be that guy.
No, stop it. I hate these questions. Should I use one of my chips and not a double? No, never. Never.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit like that, but only because I'm a bit of a chip hoarder. As regulars to the stream will know, I tend to kind of gather them all up and save them like a Mario Kart boost and use them.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, gotta catch them all, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of my tactic. So I'm not necessarily so keen to go early on it, although, you know, I could see why you would. Jay, can see you smirking there. Any thoughts?
Ask me next week and I'll let you know if you should have done it.
That's because you had a clever answer.
Well, I'm sorry, if I could predict the future and I knew exactly what Aubameyang was, if Nim dreams that he's going to score and specifically sees West Ham as the kit that are defending, then yes. Otherwise, no.
Yes, no. My dreams have done me proud in the past. That's for sure. Brett, what about yourself? Triple captain Aubameyang?
I mean, naturally, I would say no. Look,
naturally, as an Arsenal fan, I would say no.
It's not. Yeah, it's not actually that. It's not that I don't think Aubameyang can do well. Obviously, I'm going to probably captain him, and he's going to be a very popular one. It's more like, for me, I mean, if you take the game quite seriously, and obviously it affects you emotionally. Like, if I was to use it now, game week 2, and blow it instantly, it didn't pay off. That would then, I think, put me down a little bit for the opening few weeks, and I'd be a bit annoyed at myself, I think. Look, we've just seen it pay off in game week 1 for so many people. As well, I mean, I don't know if this is like a valid reason, because I get points and points at the end of the day, but because Aubameyang is so heavily owned and such an obvious captain choice this week, like so many people are going to captain him anyway.
Yep.
The triple captain maybe arguably has a bit less value there, because you're only going to get that third of the amount of points more than everyone else. Whereas if he was, late into the season and less people have the triple captain left and he's a little bit less owned and the double game week player that not everyone can get, you've got an advantage over more people then, I think, rather than just getting a third of the points extra than everyone else.
Preach. Yes,
yeah.
Math.
Yeah. That's kind of...
Don't ask dumb questions.
Well, Well, you know what? For me, I triple captain Mane last season when he came on and got injured in
That's a good
after 2
decision.
minutes. So
That was a great decision.
But you know what? As long as my triple captain beats that this year, I'll be. That's the way I'm thinking of it.
So many people were beating themselves up about that Manny thing. I just don't understand. He was the better away form, so you captain him and you triple captain him because it's a double. It's the easiest decision ever, and he never gets injured, so you could never have predicted it. It's the easiest thing to go. Oh well, bad luck. Move on.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian, I'm vice captain in Salah. So if you want a good captaincy choice, then Salah it is, my friend. And I would have done that for likes, but it's already in my video this week. So
we've already got like United in game week 1 blanked against Villa, right? That was their game week 1 fixture, wasn't it? So I mean, they're going to have a double game week with Villa there. So straight away, and I'm not sure when it'll be, maybe like game week 14, 18, whenever, but already we're going to have a United double game week that includes Aston Villa. So it's just about statistically, and probability wise, giving yourself a better chance of profiting from the chip. Ultimately, it's only going to get you an extra 15 points at the end of the day. So, it's not as big as we build it up to be. But yeah, I just think the good thing is if you don't use
I'm
it
waiting for that Aguero triple captain in his double game week. That's me.
There you go.
Yeah. That's me sorted right there.
That's more like it.
Rotation central. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Sorry.
So, no, it's good. That's what I was going to say. Like, if you don't use it this week and Aubameyang smashes it, at least you've still got the chip left. It's like a gutting that you didn't use it, but I've still got it in the back pocket for another time. So at least you haven't blown it then.
Good point. Kurt, anything to add to that before we move on to the next one?
Just use it. Why not?
And that's why Kurt is here. Love it.
It's a fair argument.
Let's go, champ.
If the guy wants to do it, it's that everyone plays differently. It's their own game.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. Okay. Next question then. So Graham wants to know. Hey, Graham. He wants us to talk about James Rodriguez, what we think. Is he going to get even better for the next game? Is he a good prospect for West Brom and onwards? Jay, what do we think about James for the future?
I mean, the impact, not only him, but Decore and Allen had on that midfield was pretty drastic. And I think potentially Rodriguez could have a similar effect to Everton as Bruno Fernandes has had at Man United. However, from that game, I worry about how often he's going to be scoring. I didn't see many times when he looked like he had a big chance or a chance where you'd hope he would score, say, 1 time out of 5 or any kind of chance like that. So I almost look at it like it's great for Everton and it's great for the forwards at Everton, so Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That, of course, is just off of one game, though. So I'm eager to watch more of him and see if he can get more shots on goal and more shots inside the box. And if he does get that, then I think he'll be an absolute steal at his price. But right now, I'm a lot more interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin at 0.5 million cheaper.
0.4.
Yeah, good point.
Anyone else?
I disagree.
Okay. Go, Dave. Go.
Just by a little bit. So he had 2 shots in the box, which is the same amount as DCL. But he'd only been in the club for 5 days. He actually signed just 5 days. That's crazy. DCL has been in there for ages. I think the fact that he had the most key passes and big chances created for all of Game Week 1, having known very little of the team and the way they play, and the fact that he was on the wing as well. And, they played so well against, Spurs are still a top 6 side. I know they're not doing the greatest and blah, blah, blah. We've all watched All or Nothing, right? I get it. But, I think that because
I haven't
of
watched
how
it yet, actually.
you should watch it. You need to be punished for not watching it. It's so good.
I haven't watched it because it feels like everyone was pro Spurs because they watched it.
Yeah.
And all of pre-season, I was like, I didn't want any Spurs. And then everyone was like, Dele Alli is Mourinho's favourite.
No, I know. They should have waited until the other episodes came out because
okay.
Dele Alli looks like a spoiled brat. No, I think the problem with it, like you said, is that we only have one game week worth of data, but that data itself was 2 shots in the box, 1 shot on target, 5 key passes, and Richarlison didn't have his shooting boots on. I feel like if Richarlison took half of his chances, then James Rodriguez would have been on 15 points with 3 bonuses. He's soaking up so much pressure as well. He's telling everyone what to do. He is almost exactly what Bruno was doing. And Bruno's only blank, I think, in the first 10 game weeks he was in or something like that was his very first game. So I'm really excited. And everyone who's been saying, Ali to him, I'm like, yes, he's looking great. So I disagree. I think he's a great knee jerk.
Well, I can agree with you on the fact that if you've got Dele Alli and you want to go Rodriguez, definitely do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I kind of wish he didn't have West Brom at home next, because I'd love to just, after that performance, I'd love to see a little bit more from him. But now I'm going to miss this Plum fixture because I'm not going to get him this week. And it's frustrating because we talk about the underlying stats, and just watching that game, like, he just looks so natural, and just really, really impressed with him, basically. And it's without disrespecting Everton. Like, I wrote them off at the start of the season. I thought, I'm not going to touch Everton players. I had a bit of a bad time with DCL at the end of last season. And we all know how bad that was. And I just thought,
as
what?
bad as Wilson. Wilson,
it's up there. It probably is, to be fair, because at least Wilson would give me something now and again.
Calvert, I'm sorry.
They both returned game week 1 as well.
I know. Calvert-Lewin, like 7 games, no attacking returns for me. That's all I had him for. That was shocking. But anyway, we've heard about that all enough. Now, without disrespecting Everton, I wrote them off at the start of the season, and it's weird because James Rodriguez is like arguably a world-class player. He has been, in the past. Like, this is like a Galactico that was like Real Madrid. If he had put on like a Man United shirt or a City shirt, I'd be like, wow, James for 7.5, bloody hell. Because he's at Everton, I'm sort of like, why? I didn't even And then I watch him play, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, this guy is top drawer. So
I don't think you can blame yourself for that, though. I think they're very much like Chelsea from last season. We all wanted someone, but we just didn't know who to go for. We didn't know where they were starting. And then as soon as they kind of started, everyone was like, okay, awesome. Let's go for Mount. Let's go for Abraham. It's a similar thing here.
Until you watch them, and I really like him as an option now. I thought my 7.5 option would be Greenwood, and that was set. But now I'm like, James, is going to be involved in a lot of what Everton do. So, yeah, he certainly passed the eye test, that's for sure.
Just give Glenn Kitely a shout out in the chat. I was on his channel yesterday, Everything Arsenal, talking about FPL, and he's just told me not to watch the Spurs All or Nothing. But, as a fellow Arsenal fan, I'm pretty sure I know the reasoning behind that one. So, hi, Glenn. How are you doing this evening, buddy? Cool. Okay.
Should we move on to
the next one to Kurt? Yeah.
Okay, we'll just go one name on this one because there's Priyan Patel. He's asked this about 4 times in the last 20 seconds. So we'll just quickly go one name. Yes or no? Would you swap Salah for Sterling game week 2? Jay?
No.
Kurt?
Yes.
Dave?
No, definitely not.
Nim?
No.
Dave wanted to say more than one word.
I can't believe that's even a question.
No.
Kurt, why did you say yes?
Just wanted to be different.
I knew it.
He was Salah out a couple of seasons ago, and I think that's still buried deep in there.
And
somewhere.
I was Salah out because I said Mane for the price and the points you're going to get was better value. And I think if you do the maths, you found out that value ended up being in Mane over Salah. So I was right before anyone says anything.
No,
However,
I think
after that, I said I was
Mane.
Mane out because they priced them pretty much identically and I ended up being right again. So before people give me stick, I'm the gospel. Listen to my voice. All right.
Okay.
It would be a very bold call. Yeah, it would be a very bold call. I think Sterling did well against Wolves there. I think I've read that he did well last season there. I can't, not off the top of my head. But Salah's just scored a hat-trick, so it'd be a very bold move and maybe a bit unnecessary. That's my opinion. Akil Paul asked the same question, is Salah out for Sterling good option? So we kind of covered that for you there as well, Akil. Majority of us aren't fancying that, but Kurt does. Okay, Harshal says, St. Maximin now suddenly doesn't look a good option. thoughts on other 5.5 million options, possibly Harrison from Leeds. So do we have any budget 5.5 million midfielders that you, assuming you didn't want to keep St. Maximin, who would you go to at 5.5?
Excluding Harrison.
Well,
So I've got Harrison. So
he said possibly Harrison from Leeds. He didn't say not excluding. He said possibly. He's thinking about getting Harrison. So
We did kind of cover this a little bit of the differentials earlier, but yeah, well.
Any others at 5.5 other than Harrison then?
Yeah, didn't you have one that you
I
couldn't
said
pronounce
Fraser,
properly?
and then there was
Fraser's 6 though, right?
Costa. Oh, he's 6, is he? Yeah, sorry. Costa.
Yeah, Helder Costa,
Helder
another
Costa.
Leeds player at home to Fulham. So
Yeah. Maybe Saka might be back this week after missing last week, but then again, now I'm just concerned to even mention his name after thinking he would be an absolute nailed-on starter for Arsenal, and then he wasn't.
I've got St. Maximin, and I'm not too worried for this week. He's at home to Brighton. You know,
I love that shout. Sorry, from Edson in the chat. Brian, sorry, in the chat. Podence. I was a big fan of his last season. So
I have a whole list, and it's slowly my list of 5.5 is going because I have St. Maximin, so I've done some research on this. And
okay.
Ever so slowly, these players are
Let
disappearing.
Jay go next. Let Jay go next.
Yeah, even I was about to get to that, to be honest. So I was going to say I'm going to keep St. Maximin for this week at home to Brighton, and then game week 3, Wolves' fixtures look very tantalising. Lots of green fixtures. Podence at 5.5 and Neto, both of them were on my watch list before they played on the opening game week, and they both looked dangerous. The underlying stats don't look great for them, but they both got an assist. Podence was like on the break, like so quick, like really sharp. I was so impressed with Podence. So yeah, you know, if I've got room to make a transfer on a 5.5 and I want to get rid of St. Maximin for game week 3, then Podence is right up there on the watch list for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep St. Maximin this week at home to Brighton. Feels silly to transfer him out. He was in on goal at one point, and if it wasn't for Ryan Fredericks, I think, who was like really fast catching him up. He's probably the one player on the pitch that could have caught St. Maximin in that situation. He was through on goal there, you know. He's a dangerous player. So at home to Brighton, you know, I'm still happy to have him for that one.
Yeah.
Another shout I'll chuck out there. Yeah. Just maybe not for this week, but a season-long punt is just looking at the lack of midfielders they have. Goodmanson for Burnley.
I think there was
he may have gone off injured.
An injury, yeah. He went off injured today. So
in that case, ignore me.
Because I think somebody mentioned earlier in the chat that I might have snuck one there with getting Peters in over Taylor on my bench, and obviously having Goodmanson injured brings him in there. So yeah, sorry about that, Kurt.
All right, thought it'd be too good to be true, and it was.
Okay, so the next one, let's have a look. Okay, this is a good one. So who is the best 4.5 Vinagre replacement? So Jay, you've got Vinagre. So who are you looking at for 4.5 million?
I mean, as far as the eye test, Lamptey was the one that really impressed me. I do also really like Lewis. Those are the kind of two that, over the game week 1, were the ones that I kind of wish I had instead of Kyle Walker-Peters and Vinagre. So those would be the two I'd go for.
Cool. What about you, Kurt? Any 4.5? Oh, I think I know who you're going to say, but
4.5 what position? Sorry,
defender. You've already mentioned him a few times. So
I've got Ayling and Justin at the moment. But to be honest, I really, this is the first game week, and especially now, I struggle to look at decent 4.5 million options that are actually going to play. Walker-Peters is there, but I don't think Southampton look too good.
No, I'm not fancying Walker-Peters.
I'm not fancying Walker-Peters.
No.
And he's in my
Apart from
side.
Justin for now, and then Ayling, that's all I can really say is in confidence that I think would do well. Potentially,
how are we feeling
you've got
about
Jamal
Stuart
Lewis.
Dallas now? How are we feeling about Dallas? Because all of a sudden we're all talking about Ayling, and like, you know, before the season started, I almost had Dallas in my team. Jay, have you got Dallas now?
No, I don't have any.
You almost
defenders.
had him, right?
Yeah, so basically, because the fixtures weren't too great, I thought the whole plan was not to have to use any transfers on £4.5 million defenders. And, of course, I'm now in a situation where I feel like I have to. I mean, I think the thing with Eiling is he just looked so good that he potentially is going to get bonus points.
He very nearly got an assist as well. Bamford, I think, got put through by Ailing, and then maybe he rounded the keeper and missed or something like that. I can't remember.
I think because Van Dijk? Was it Van Dijk? Oh, do you mean? I know Koch had a good assist, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold headed it into his own net, and it was disallowed for offside. So, I mean, to be fair, all of the defenders looked like they could get assists. But I think just with Eiling, he looked so commanding in defence and looked like he'd get bonus points in a tighter contest than that 4-3 game. But I think that's why everyone's going towards him. But I think I'd still be drawn to Dallas if Eiling's going to play centre-back. And I don't think he'll play there all season, but for now it looks like that's where his position is.
Well, my 4.5 pick is still Lewis. I'm still going to stick by my guy.
Yeah, I really like Lewis. My only concern, I'm thinking like Newcastle options. I'm looking like more like game week 7 now onwards. You know,
that's fine by me, Brett. You can leave him alone. It's all good.
Yeah, after Brighton at home, the fixtures for a couple of weeks, 4 game weeks aren't great. Spurs away, Burnley, Man United, Wolves away.
Easy.
My worry is West Ham made him look good. That's what my worry is.
Like, I'm still looking at Charlie Taylor. I've got him in my team, and it's like because Burnley 15 clean sheets last season. You know, it just seems like I know he's not the exciting I'm going to get you assists defender, but it's Burnley. It's like for 4.5 defensive team. You know, Leicester away this week, so I'm going to bench Taylor probably away to Leicester and then play him from then on. Really, he rotates really well with Justin. So providing Justin stays in the team, I'll just keep rotating them really. But I'm
annoyed at myself with taking Justin out. Oh, frustrated with that.
Yeah, it's just the sensible one. It's the not exciting one, but it's Burnley, you know. So I trust them for clean sheets. So I think 4.5, cheap way into Burnley's defence. I think Charlie Taylor's still a good shout.
Yeah, cool.
Dave, any other 4.5s?
Yeah, you pretty much all said them. Lamptey, Taylor. Yeah, I like any of the Leeds fullbacks, to be honest. Like, I don't think you can really pick between them too much. There was nothing in the stats, and I did check because I was looking at them. There's no one really that I can think of that is really popping. And to be honest, at 4.5, you don't need anyone to be super like, oh my god, he's gonna score every week, like exactly what Taylor is. And I've got Taylor and Justin, and I plan to do the exact same thing as you, just swap in between them, man.
Yeah, nice, mate, nice, like that. Okay, we got one from John Tyner here. He has Nathan Redmond in his team, and he wants replacements. So 6.5 million, but he has got $1 million in the bank. So he's got 7.5 to spend. So Dave, at 7.5, I mean, I think I know where you're going to go with this one, but who would you suggest he replaces Redmond with?
Greenwood. No, I'm joking. Rodriguez is playing a very, very enticing football team in game week 2. They're called West Brom. They didn't look very well. They didn't look great at all. I think you could go there. Other options, I think Barnes did look amazing, and I think he is an option that you can jump to. I would prefer to go for, if I was struggling between 2 options, I would go for the more expensive one so that I can drop down without having to worry about it. Rodriguez all the way, I think.
Cool. Kurt, at 7.5, is there any others you could think of or less that you could replace Redmond with?
Just to check, because I haven't looked at Southampton much. Redmond's a midfielder, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he one of those ones that sort of goes up or down. I mean, obviously the Grealish, Zaha, something like that. But most of their attacks are going to come through that team. Zaha, if anyone's going to get returns for Palace, considering some of their strikers are still in slumber for another 9 months. Zaha's going to be the man to do it. And then Grealish
playing centre forward in the opening game, didn't he? And good pre-season form too. And Zaha was a player I thought I'm not going near Zaha because I had him at one point last season and didn't have a good time with that. But good pre-season form. Scored in the opening game as a centre forward. Plays United next, previous club. Very difficult fixture. But at the start of last season, I think game week 3, United played Palace, and like Palace won 2-1 there, I think, and everyone was expecting United to win that. So yeah, Palace are a bit of a bogey team for United over the years, I think. So Zaha could do well there.
Weird how many bogus teams that Crystal Palace is for.
Yeah,
They
true.
always take
Liverpool as
big
well.
scalps.
They
And
do.
City at one point as well last season.
Yeah.
Is with
I'm
Palace.
not
it's
thinking United's going to be such a pushover this week either. Like,
I mean,
you know,
looking at the long-term fixtures, they're good as well, actually. Longer term.
Did you look at the stats for Crystal Palace's attack?
Batshuayi. He's going to be
Don't,
mad.
if you want to pick Zaha. Don't.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that's the mistake I made last season. I went for Zaha over Grealish, and the stats said do not do that. So I got
no,
don't
do that.
decision.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's just really difficult to try and go for a team when I'm looking into form or fixtures or anything, and then I look at the stats and I'm like, oh, that's why Crystal Palace don't score, and they only score 1 goal maybe every 2 games. Zaha did look good, but he always looks good. It's the same as kind of St. Maximum, any of that type of player with the tricks and running around like a headless chicken. But at the same time, like, they only shoot maybe 6 times a game max, and there's players out there that barn shot more times than that in one game. So it's difficult to choose someone with like really low attacking output.
Jay or Nim, anything to add, or should we move to the next question with those?
Yeah, I mean, Greenwood is a possible option, but other than that, no, I think we've covered a lot of those cheaper options.
Yeah, if it wasn't for all this controversy with Greenwood,
Foden, we'd all be considering them probably for our teams right now, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Because I still fancy Greenwood as he's more of a goal scorer probably than James is, with the roles that they'll play. That's arguable, of course, but it's 3 points for an assist and 5 for a goal, which is nice. And United might keep quite a few clean sheets, hopefully, this season. Yeah. Okay, let's try and find another then.
I think that's a good thing about the Game Week 3 wildcard is that we're going to have all this information that we don't have. It's such a big twist in most fixtures, Wolves, City, Man United, etc. And we're going to know if Foden plays, and we're going to know if Greenwood plays, and all the rest of it. And that's why it's such a big thing. It's certainly something I'm thinking about.
My only thing is, when does the transfer window shut? I'm kind of keen.
After Game Week 4.
See, I'm wondering whether it might be worth kind of holding until then and having as much, a bit more information on those. Not that we're ever really sure what some of those transfers are going to do when they come in, whether they go straight into the teams or not. But it could be interesting if somebody moves to somewhere else or that sort of thing.
I did see that as a counter to, like, if I said to my chat or whatever, if I'm streaming and I say, I think I might wildcard in Game Week 3. And they're like, oh, but what if Sancho comes in? It's like, well, good thing I'm not picking Greenwood then, because he'd be a risk on a wildcard. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would just pick non-risks. So I know that Martial is probably not going to get his place taken out. So he's a good pick. Bruno would be another great pick. Who are they going to buy that's better than Bruno? So I think that there is a little bit of...
On comes his 2-minute injury now that I bought him, and Dave's giving him the big Evo for this week.
No, but I think the only player that I would definitely be like, oh, I shouldn't have wildcard is for someone huge like Sancho or like, Bale. And there's not really going to be any picks that I would be scared of not owning after a wild card, because all the ones that I want are going to be in it, and they're not going to be taken out by any transfers from the actual club. They're never going to replace KDB, that sort of thing. So I think as long as you're kind of shrewd with your risk taking and make sure that it's not completely off the wall, like you couldn't take Greenwood in, for example, then I think a wild card is actually a decent option. Maybe not great. Maybe not Game Week 2, Kurt, but Game Week 3 definitely.
This is where he gets 100 points this week, and I'm rubs it in our face next year.
If you don't get 100 points, I'll be disappointed, to be fair.
It's all right for Dave. Dave won't be here. It'll be us.
Yeah. You better be in the chat.
I don't want 100 points. I want 69.
That's going to be his
level. If you
level.
get 69 for every single game week.
Yeah, that's number one. You'd be
The
number
next
one.
point above 69 isn't 70 or 100, it's 420. I can't get 69 or 420. Don't want to know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
I mean, we've definitely got a title if you get a 420 game week.
Yeah.
How would
The
you
best
celebrate?
ever. Get me on the FPL show.
How would you celebrate a 420 score?
I think I would just never wear clothes on an FPL Wildcat stream again. His hat, off it goes. Don't need that anymore.
Loving
Read that
it.
back.
The music's not even on yet.
There we go. I was going to say we haven't had any sound effects tonight. It's been fairly quiet on the sound effects front. Cool.
Okay, let's move on to the next question then.
Okay, and then we look close
so
to
usually-
doing the whole quickfire soon, yeah, Brett? After this one?
Well, I mean, I've gone through most of the questions
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
but we
All right
can,
then.
if people want to get loads of questions in for a quick fire, we can do. So I'll give this question, and then I'll move on to another question and give time to think about the other one, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
okay.
MBS keeps asking in the chat, Golden Boot winner this year. So now we'll move to the next question, have a little think about a potential Golden Boot winner. So this question is from
Rude.
Ofek, and he wants to know, is Sice for Ben Davis a good transfer? So we haven't talked much about the Wolves defence so far. So Jay, what are we thinking about Sice or the Wolves defence in general?
Get him in now.
Yeah.
Don't
Even
wait.
with Man City next?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's a decent fixture, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, once that fixture's gone, the fixtures are great for Wolves. And I think his price is going to rise. And I really wish I had him instead of Benagre.
Yeah. Dave, your eyebrows are raising a bit there. They've got Man City at home next.
Yeah, the problem with it is that I was watching the Sheffield United attack, and they honestly were very, very good at keeping the ball and doing. Wolves had to soak up a lot of pressure, and it's not something that we tend to notice. Especially last season, their defense was great, and they were very, very good at collecting the ball, getting up, transitioning into that obvious Traore bombing it down. That's what we know. And that's what we love. And especially considering the fact that he's now playing at wing back, it does make sense in the attack, but they did look a little bit leaky. And although Sheffield United didn't score, and to be honest, we don't really look at Sheffield United to score. Like, when are we ever going to bring in a striker from that team? But if they do play a team like City, who have good strikers, I don't think that they're going to keep many clean sheets is what we think. Say was great as a striker. He was playing very well. He nearly scored three whole times, and two of them were from corners. So it's clearly something that they've been working on in the training ground, where he is the main target, and that's really all you can ask for a centre back with attacking threat. But then he was also joining in counterattacks and stuff, so I can absolutely see the appeal, especially considering the fact that it wasn't just one header. He did try it a couple of times. He did try and shoot. He had a shot in the box, for God's sake. But the problem was,
wow, that counter.
yeah, it's mental.
Oh my God.
I was like, he's gonna pass at him and he's gonna get another goal, and I'm gonna be raging. And then he shot, and I was like, no
Hit the
way!
bar.
Why would you do that? That's amazing. And then I started looking at SofaScore, like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But my problem is that if I bring a defender in, I want it to be because mainly for the defense, and they scared me a little bit. I was expecting a little bit better, especially against an attacking team, or sorry, a non-attacking team like Sheffield United. So I would be caveating it with that noise.
Nim, what are you
Yeah.
thinking about the Wolves defence? Looks like you've got some thoughts.
Yeah, no, I liked Sace for all the reasons that have already been mentioned. Really, it really feels like they've gone to him, right? We don't have Doherty anymore, so we have to fill that gap.
It's like,
Really,
finally, he's not in my way anymore.
Yeah, basically, here you go. Here's your license. Sace, go for it. Give us some sass and show us how it's done. So yeah, I really like the look of him, and I do think that the Wolves fixtures get a lot better after City. So he's a possible for my wild card. You could jump on now, I guess, and ride out a match or two and have him there for the price rises. Possibly a little bit early days with it, but he definitely showing promising signs, that's for sure. So yeah, that's my
Kurt,
thoughts.
any thoughts on Wolves' defence?
I was intrigued in Bolly until he was priced at 5.5. Personally, no. They've lost Doherty, and that's the one sort of go-to defender. Besides that, I haven't really looked at them, haven't really bothered with them. No one's really caught my eye, and at best I'd go for... No, there's no one 5.5. No, I would avoid 5 million for a centre-back. For me is it's a bit too much unless they're guaranteed clean sheets. Someone like in a top 6 team.
Gabriel.
Yeah, what?
He said top
guaranteed clean
6.
sheets.
You said top 6 there. Sorry.
They will be this season, my love. They will be this
You're only as good as your last season.
Wait
Don't
a
add it.
minute. Is this a positive, like, Arsenal
Yes,
fan?
yes.
What is this?
I didn't say top 4, I said top 6.
To me, that's very positive.
So I've got Ben Davis, like Offek has. And I told myself this season I'm going to stay off Twitter, avoid the noise, and watch the football myself and make my own judgments. And genuinely, one of the top judgments I had was, oh my God, size was immense in that game. That's genuinely what I thought. Just when I saw him on the breakaway and he scored the header, he had another chance, missed a header. He had that clearance off the line. I was like, oh my God, this guy's doing everything. Like, I was so impressed with Sice. And he's a player that I hadn't considered much last season when he was 4.5, because I was on the Doherty train then. And at 5 million, I'm looking at their fixtures after game week 2 now. So game week 3 onwards, like Wolves' fixtures there, I haven't got them in front of me right now, but there's like a run of 6 games, all with an FDR of 2. I know FDR can be a little bit subjective, but there's some good fixtures, and Davis is 5 million as well. So naturally, I was thinking, okay, game week 3, I'll bring Sice in for Davis. Now, the only reason I won't do that is because game week 3, I'll be looking at getting probably De Bruyne or Sterling or like a Man City player in, and I don't want to have to take a hit for a defender. So that and game week 3, Spurs do have Newcastle at home. So that seems like as long as Davis keeps his place with this new signing, which is still a bit confusing, of course I'm not going to take a hit to sell a defender who has Newcastle at home. So I'll probably keep Davis for game week 3, and then look at Sice. Then their match now, like what Dave said, I looked at the stats quickly. I mean, they still conceded 8 shots inside the box against Sheffield United. That's more than the shots they had against them. So that's a bit of a concern, because Sheffield United are one of the worst attacking teams, really. So this is their audition now at home to City. They're probably going to...
That's a harsh addition.
Yeah, it is a harsh... Like, I'm not going to say...
Do something in this game, or I'm not picking you.
Yeah.
Clean sheet or nothing.
What I mean by that is, I'm not saying if they don't keep a clean sheet against Man City, I'm not interested, but I'm going to see how they play, how he plays.
Of course.
If they ship 5 to Man City, they're all over the place. 6 and 7s, I'll be like, But look, their stats last season defensively were very good when Bolly was back in the team. Second half of the season, they were one of the best defensive teams for big chances conceded, that kind of thing. So they do seem like a go-to team for the defense. And Offek, if I'm in your situation, and I just don't see the point in making it this week. They've got Man City at home now. I'm going to get rid of Davis maybe game week 3 or game week 4, and then look to bring in Sice.
And all those plans you just said might just go out the window, seeing as we're being told that Bale has completed his medical. So,
oh, nice.
Breaking news.
That's
I feel like he's not going to be able to play for at least a month. He reminds me of Andy Carroll before he got fit.
I still need to see so much more from Spurs, even with Bale in. Because I feel like they're missing Eriksen.
Do you not watch the Wales games, buddy? I mean, have you not seen the team? Have you not seen the team around? Why would I watch a Wales game? Well, okay, fair enough. But either way, like, no offense to our team, we don't really have much of a good football team. But Bale and Ramsey tend to literally bail us out most of the time. So I think that probably shows why you might be wanting to consider Bale for your FPL.
Well, just who's the creative force on that side? It's kind of like Lo Celso. That's it.
Yeah, he's going to be makeshift. You can do Eriksen's job.
Son's more attacking. Like, there's no replacement for Eriksen. I think they're really missing an Eriksen replacement.
For sure,
Eric Dyer.
For sure they are.
Yeah, but I just think he can.
Underrated.
Bale
Don't
can
get me
make his
wrong.
own creativeness.
Like, literally, Son is probably the only person in that side that I think can make something happen out of nothing for himself.
Well, that's what
just
Bale is going to be like, just so you're aware.
He's not played for so long. Like, until I start seeing it, I'm not even bothered.
The good
I
thing
need
about
to see it
Tottenham is that
first.
we don't have to do anything for at least a little while because their fixtures aren't the best, and there's we've got to
schedule as
deal
well.
with Man United, Man City. So I love the fact that we can. This is the first kind of season where I've been able to like rule out an entire team. Like I don't want to look at Chelsea right now until all their midfielders are fit. I don't want to look at Spurs until Mourinho leaves or something massive
Yeah.
happens. I can focus on 3 or 4 teams and then get fringe players around it. So Bale doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
I think
Not a
he
thing.
played in Madrid's final game the season and lasted 71 minutes. So
Because the thing is, he has to do better than De Bruyne, Sterling, Fernandes,
Yeah,
Salah.
exactly.
If he's not doing better than them, then I'm assuming the price point he'll be put at, I just won't be interested.
He might make Kane better. I might
True.
consider, other players that are cheaper, but it's so expensive for very like volatile attacking returns. I've been burned so many times with Spurs, Son in particular in the past. Like he loves a little red card now and again as well. Like it's just all rough, and they're so expensive. It's not like you could just risk it for 6 million or something. Like 10.5 for Kane. 9 million for Son. That's a lot.
7.5 for James Rodriguez.
Chelsea,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 7.5. I can do that. Deal. Deal.
yeah.
So we'll quickly go back to the Golden Boot winner then. So we had a little bit of time to think. So Nim, who's your shout for Golden Boot?
I'd completely forgotten about that question. Aguero. No. Well, if he plays and he stays injury free,
He won't play. He hasn't played consistently for the last 17 seasons.
Since he was 19 years old. Jesus.
He deserves at
Honestly.
least one season. Seriously, just one time. Come back to me.
Okay, Dave, any thoughts on Golden Boot winner?
Just off of one game. It's a really difficult question. But if we only have one game to go on, then it's going to be Salah. His stats are out of this world. Like, he was incredible 3 seasons ago. The fact that now he's thrown up the exact same numbers. The first time he's actually had a good rest after that injury, because he came back and he was trying his best. And we seen how hard he wanted to get a goal, and he only got 3 in post-lockdown. Now he's kind of settled. I know that the team is probably going to struggle a little bit more. We've never seen Liverpool be champions have to defend, and they're now the team to beat, and they're going to have to soak up the same pressure that City did last season. So I don't know whether they're going to do well with that, but Salah certainly seems like it doesn't matter what the defense is up to. He's still going to score so many goals, and it doesn't take much to get the Golden Boot. Vardy did it, Ings nearly did it. Salah had a poor season, and he almost did it again. So yeah, Salah definitely for me.
Cool. That's good. Kurt?
Well, based on one game, Salah's due to score 114 goals this season.
Bam. Told you.
But that's just on an average of one game. But no, I've stuck money behind this as well. I think Aubameyang, he's now signed a new contract. I think he will play up front. He'll play out wide. He'll score goals no matter what. I just got this feeling about Aubameyang this year. He's going to absolutely set the Premier League on fire.
I hope so.
Cool. What about you, Jay?
I think I've got to go Salah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just one.
Aubameyang will be close, I reckon, though.
Yeah. I was thinking Aubameyang, but like you guys said, I'll go Salah because he's got like a 2-goal head start now. Really, he's already a great option when everyone starts at 0, and now he's got a goal head start over Vardy.
Well, if you're saying that, you could say Vardy, couldn't you? Because he's not far behind Salah either.
Well,
Yeah,
Salah's a goal ahead of Vardy already.
Salah's 20 shots ahead of Vardy.
Yeah, Vardy will be up there. But he's like another year old. He's what, 34 now? 33, 34. Yeah,
I just don't
it's
think
one
it's
game.
going to be.
It's only one game. It's hard to say, but I think Salah.
Yeah.
If everyone was at 0, Salah's already a good shout. Now he's got 3 goals already, so it's like, 17 more, and he's already like at 20, and that's all. He's close to getting the Golden Boot at that amount. So yeah. I'll go Salah.
I mean, I don't know, but something's telling me it just won't be one of the Liverpool lads this season. I mean, I feel like I want to say somebody City related, like a Sterling or a KDB, but I'm gonna plump for Bruno. I think
Bruno, penalty United.
Yeah.
So
Why not? Just something different. Just something different.
I like it. I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling or Bruno, if that happened. But I think
like City was my initial gut feeling, like somebody from City would win it. But yeah, like they'd be the two. I think Sterling, Bruno. I think just. I'd love it to be Aubameyang, though, of course.
someone said Martial in the chat. I like that.
Yeah.
I
I
like
was
that.
thinking Martial, but I just couldn't
Yeah.
say him over Son.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if we can't pick Salah or Aubameyang, then the conversation gets really interesting. But it doesn't matter because we're all picking one of them.
Cool.
Or
So,
Bruno.
Brett, any more major questions? And if not, we should probably move to the Jeffers corner, given the time.
Yes. No, that's about it. There's one little debate going on in the chat at the moment, and I'm not even sure the answer. It's who's on penalties for Everton now.
Ooh, I have an answer for this. Hold on, let me get it.
Obviously, Sigurdsson used to be, but
Dave's
he's not
got the
really in
answer.
team now, so he's out of favour.
Dave is the guru. He
on.
knows.
There was so I
Branthwaite.
was asking. So they actually said, hold on, I wanna quote it correctly. Come back to me and I'll find this answer for you.
Okay.
Well, should we
cool.
go to Jeffers' corner then, because it's getting on a bit now?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So Jeffers at Austin66 UK asked us, he always asks us every week, something non-FPL related as a bit of fun, so you guys can get to know us all a little bit better. And his question this week is, name one set of song lyrics that everyone will know. So Kurt, one set of song lyrics that everyone will know.
How long does the set have to be?
Well, I don't know, just I guess enough to make people know.
All right,
The
simple
song.
one. Do we have to sing it as well?
Yeah, I'm sure
Of
Jeffers would love
course.
that.
Of course.
Probably no, that's not going to happen.
Well, in that case,
Let me
Brett
get my
can go
singing
first then.
microphone.
Thank you. for
Hang
coming
on,
out
where's my
tonight.
hairbrush?
I'll give one, but I've got an answer for. I've got a second one just because it's more of a, well, I suppose boxing type thing. But I think we gotta hold on to what we got. And that's all you need. Sets
Yeah.
everyone off. Everyone knows what that
Yeah.
song is.
Yeah.
Was the question just was it just lyrics that everyone knows? Is that what the question?
Yeah,
I was
just
reading this.
just a set
Yeah,
of
fair
song
play.
lyrics.
Any
everyone will
Disney
know.
song ever.
That's a
Oh.
good shout.
I've got an answer for you. So I just
Oh,
really
yeah.
quickly.
Go on.
So I was tweeting about it because I was really interested in that because punting on an Everton player is important to know. And Greg O'Keefe, who is the Athletic Everton writer, he replied and he said it's hard to say with the arrival of Rodriguez. Normally he'd say Lucas Dean if it's not Siggy, if he's not on the pitch. But Rodriguez may be in the mix to take them now. We've got to wait and see. So that's the official line.
Official. Cool. Thank you for that, buddy. That's cool.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine Dean taking penalties. The world would collapse. Everyone would.
He's already a great option this week.
I know.
I think we'd all be wildcarding just to get him in, wouldn't we? Yeah. Okay, so song lyrics that everyone knows. Jay, go.
So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
Yes, nice. I was thinking like old and young, would they know it? Would they know it? Would the youngsters know? Do your daughters know
surely
Friends?
everyone knows Friends.
Yeah, I would like to think
My
so,
daughter
but
knows Friends. She's
good.
5.
That's
To be fair, I don't know the next words. I only know the clap. I don't really know what the next bit
Yeah,
is.
That's true.
The
That's true.
Your job's a joke, you
be
broke.
awake. Yeah, that's all. I don't really know the
Away.
next bit.
Yeah.
I'll quickly go next. So it
Go on
doesn't
then.
get...
He's like, oh, no.
This is literally the first line, surely. I got my first real 6-string.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to sing it, Brett.
No.
You can't leave the stream until you sing it.
I got my first real 6-string.
Yeah.
That'll do.
I
Perfect
was
key.
worried. I told my wife I wouldn't be too long. I'm just sitting here waiting for Brett to sing. He's like, nope.
RIP headphone users. Sorry for that.
Oh, you were fine. You sound great.
Go on, Dave. Go on, Dave.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. Nice.
Disney.
Well,
That's in
well,
everyone.
well,
That's good.
You can't not.
Yeah. I was gonna go, I don't know if I should sing this because it's bad luck, but you better watch out. You better not cry.
Very good.
Christmas is cheating. If Disney's cheating.
Yeah, Disney and Christmas are probably cheating.
Yeah.
But you know,
I
there
mean,
you are.
surely you could say that about all of our songs, really. Friends
Yeah.
are probably cheating.
True.
I didn't want to say anything because I was really enjoying the clapping.
No, I was gonna say
That's
like
what I picked up. I thought, surely someone will clap. Thank you, Nin. If no one had
Yeah.
clapped, I'd have been like, stream over.
Yeah, so there we go, Jeffers. Hopefully we have answered your question there, and hopefully everyone has enjoyed the stream. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will just say an extra thank you to Dave. So thank you, Dave, for
Thank you.
joining us. Please, everybody, go check out Dave's pod and YouTube, Firing Blanks, and I will pass you over to Jay to wrap us up.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure. If you have enjoyed this video, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell. It's free, it helps us out, and we will be here next week. So make sure to follow us on Twitter so you know exactly when. And that is it for us. So catch you guys later.